SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors. It is the first one of the season, and in qualifying it was all about Aiden Liebenberg, incredibly, as well. So dominant in both of those classes. He'll be alongside Tyrese Robert. Now, Tyrese Robert last year, slowly but surely, made his way to the front end and became a bit of a threat in this category. So certainly knows what to do and how to get that bike around here. So keep an eye out on bike number 22. Front row of the grid will be made up of Cameron Hackett, who only came in with about 2 rounds to go last year into the 390s and has done a lot of development riding over the off-season, and particularly here at Red Star to get himself ready for this first round.
It looks like Tyrese Roberts had put himself on pole position, so not too sure what's happened with Aiden Liebenberg, but hello Tyrese, good luck, and wearing the number 56 shirt in memory of Yanni Stander, who sadly was taken from us a couple of weeks ago. So big memories there for Yanni Stander, a very close guy to Northern Regions Racing and Motorcycle South African Racing. And that's Cameron Hackett there in second place with Doran Larrera giving him some final instructions. I'm not quite sure what's happened to our pole man Aiden Liebenberg. I see he's not on the front row of the grid yet, because that's bike number 95 making up the front row, and that's Brandon Stafford. So we're going to have to wait and see what's happened to Aiden Liebenberg. But it's definitely that man, Tyrese Robert, on pole position. And like you said, Greg, I was so impressed with Tyrese Robert towards the end of last year. He really came good. Stepped up everything, was riding a bit more, and from being a mid-pack rider to challenging for podium positions and now challenging for wins. So watch out for the young man.
Look, the incredible thing is that his main contenders are going to be the guys who have now stepped up from 250 into the 390s. He's got a season under his belt, so he's got a little bit more experience on the bike, which is going to help him out. But more importantly, for Tyrese's point of view, is he's good friends with the current and reigning champion in this class, the first Super Junior. And William Friend is actually here and was giving him a lot of advice to help him out. There's Luca Coccioni. There's our man that's going to be riding in the regionals, and he, of course, I think will probably step it up. 99 is a man to keep an eye out for as well, Lance Murray. Now, Lance Murray's mom was having a chat to me just before the racing kicked off and said there's a lot of support coming for Lance here today, and lots of the fans from the biker clubs have come out to support him. There's a man there as well. That's the man you're talking about, Chase. He was getting it sideways and very, very low on a motorcycle that doesn't normally have the tendency to be able to get a lean angle like that.
So impressive with those photos. And so we got Dominic Doyle, we got Ricardo Otto, who's also jumped from the 250 Cup onto the RC390 bike, and then we got Gareth Heilig and Jared Schultz further down the field here. So a good, healthy field, strong field. I'm still trying to see where Aiden Liebenberg is. I can't see him out there at the moment, so I don't think he's made it out there. But as we go under starters orders, and we're going to get the green light any second now to go racing. It's today's second race of the day so far, the first of the national championships. Can Tyrese Roberts turn that pole position into a whole shot? He gets a good jump, had the bike nice and square. He cuts right across, angled himself for the line into turn one. Looks like Cameron Hackett's got a great start, but it's that man, Brandon Stafford, who takes the lead going into turn one.
Cape Town in the house, and we mentioned those guys at the back, Heilig and of course Jared Schultz all the way from Cape Town. So looks like it's going to be an incredible ride here. A couple of guys coming a long, long way to participate. And remember, they're going to be going into it a little bit later on as well to see how well things go throughout the season. As we get down to Cape Town, they'll probably have a little bit of an edge over some of the riders. You've got track specialists out there. Right now, keep an eye on the black T-shirt. And of course, the reason why our pole man, of course, Tyrese Roberts, is running that black T-shirt, you'll see it's got a big number 56 on. And that, of course, is our good friend, Yanni Stander. So riding in honor of the man that did a huge amount for motorsport in this country, not only on the track, but also in motocross. And of course, we wish the family all the very best in a very trying time. It was a sad loss to lose a man of Yanni Stander's caliber.
And knowing Yanni Stander, he's probably up there with his slops on, busy giving Tyrese a kick in the bum, saying,
no
let's
doubt
go.
about it.
Let's go. But it's the Cape Town man out front as he leads, coming across the line for the first time. Cameron Hackett there in second place. There's a move on the inside. I think that's Dominic Doyle up into third position. So we saw the end of last season, and Dominic Doyle and Brandon Stafford really were the guys to beat when William Friend was out front, but they were the second best guys and often challenged William Friend. So watch out for those two guys. But Hackett and Tyrese Robert have definitely stepped it up.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see Dominic Doyle and Staffan stepping it up. But as you can see, Cameron Hackett is up for the challenge as well. And what we saw with Cameron Hackett is, as he came in at the latter part of the season, he was playing around in the 250s for a bit. He had a great outing on some of the 250 races, in fact, winning a couple of them. But of course, he's now got a KTM under his belt, and certainly is not afraid to throw it around. He's got Doyle on his tail, and Dom's not looking too shabby at all. Remember, he had a big incident at Desi's Raceway last year with the champion, the two of them coming together, and it actually cost him a little bit of a championship chance. So Staffen leads across the line. On his tail is Hackett, then it's Doyle, and then right behind them comes Robert. So Tyrese Robert, 4th place at the moment, sitting behind this little pack. It's not a bad position to be in, considering the fact that they're now starting to chop and change and look for outside and inside lines. Look at that, Hackett around the outside. Opens the door, Doyle's through.
Brandon Staffen is a little bit out of shape at the moment. He needs to calm down. He takes a look behind him to see where the rest of the field are. That's going to allow Dominic Doyle on the inside, but Staffen late on the brakes, and Dominic Doyle makes the move up into 1st place now. So Staffen looks a little bit out of shape, so he just needs to calm down a bit. Hackett's going to try and make the move on the inside, doesn't make it stick. Oh, that was very tight. This is allowing Dominic Doyle, look at that, already has a little bit of a gap. So the guys behind him need to just calm down, get their act together, start putting in some decent laps and close that gap, because if you give Dominic Doyle a gap and a chance to get away, he will do that.
Yeah, he's going to go. He's going to try and pull the pin now and get away from these riders. Staffen realizes that, and you can see the support coming from the pit wall there, telling him to just calm down, get into a rhythm. Hackett, of course, is trying to do the same thing, but he's now got some problems in the shape of Tyrese Robert, because Robert is now back into that pack. So between these three or four riders, this is where the lead is going to change up for the rest of the race, and this is where the podium is going to be decided. And if Staffen continues to be a little bit out of shape, now remember, you weren't here yesterday, but Rob, Brandon Staffen was actually caught out in the qualifying for overtaking under yellow, so it might have rattled him a little bit. He did that the last time he came into this 5th turn on this circuit. And unfortunately, the foot out didn't hold back Dominic Doyle, and it really didn't phase Cameron Hackett either. So normally what you'd see is if you went Valentino Rossi-esque into a corner and put that big foot out, most of the riders would tap out and not try and go. Our riders are not worried about a thing. They're going to just take your foot off.
Greg, some cake in our face here. We got it all wrong. It's Aiden Liebenberg that's out front. It just looked like he was on the Dominic Doyle bike, but it's Aiden Liebenberg who's actually out front, not the man Dominic Doyle who we thought it was.
The reason we're looking is we're looking for the fur core colors, which is the yellow and black.
He's obviously had a problem with his number 1 bike, and he's jumped onto another bike, but it's Aiden Liebenberg who's out front, and it's just put in a 53.6. So he really is pulling away by miles now. Brandon Staffen, the Cape Town man, is in 2nd place. Cameron Hackett is in 3rd place, and Tyrese Robert at 4th place. Okay, so Aiden Liebenberg is our man out front. Sorry about that, guys, but it is Aiden Liebenberg who is out front. Good battle behind these guys. Dominic Doyle really in a lonely 5th, but Lance Marais, Otto, Holscher, and Schultz really in a good battle from 6th down to 9th.
You know what we'll do? We'll just go to Liebenberg's pit and say to him, listen, this is not on. You're riding for Furcore Construction. Your colors are yellow, black, and white.
Yeah, please.
What are you doing on a blue and orange bike?
Don't confuse us, please.
We don't know how to tell the difference. My goodness. Why do you think we're behind these microphones? Anyway, well done there, 80. Good job, yeah, but it took him a while to get to the front. Now the battle is for 2nd place. Hackett on the inside.
Oh, that's tight.
He runs a bit wide there. I thought that might have been a little bit too tight to make it through there, and had to back out of that one. Otherwise, the two of them would have probably gone down.
Well, Brandon Staffen, he really is so late on the brakes, and he really chops off the line. So Hackett really can't. Hackett thinks he's got the move on the inside, but Staffen uses good racecraft. He gets on the brakes and he closes the line. So it really has to force Cameron Hackett to pull out of the move. But Staffen, what a great job. Come all the way from Cape Town. Hasn't done that many laps around here as to Cameron Hackett or Tyrese Roberts behind him. And we've got some real talent coming out of Cape Town. As we've seen over the years, the McFaddens, the Greg Dreyers, and here's another one.
Yeah, well, we're going to look at that a little bit later on as well. I'm going to throw another province into the mix a bit later on when we get into the 600s, where we see a massive resurgence from riders coming out of KwaZulu-Natal. But I mean, you think about how many championship winners have come out of KwaZulu-Natal over the last 25, 30 years. Now they're all starting to come through again. So great to see all the regions being represented here in the DO SuperGP Champions Trophy. And of course, youngsters like these guys who are definitely, as you mentioned in the 250 Cup, the natural progression is to go from 250 to this, which you've seen from some of the riders who are doubling up on the day, which means there's 4 races for them to get through. But if you've gone from the 250s to the 390s, you then step it up to 600s. Oh,
big mistake there.
That was just too late on the brakes. He's run wide. He's run completely. I think something's broken, to be honest. I think he might have had a back brake problem there. Looking at the rear set, it's okay. He puts his foot back on, but is that back brake a bit of an issue? Because he was on both brakes there. He was definitely on the back brake as well as the front, pulling the lever and tapping the foot brake, and it didn't look like he was able to stop. So maybe there's a braking issue there for Cameron Hackett. He has thrown away a podium opportunity here, so we are probably going to see these 3 finish up on the podium. And I think Hackett might have just been overtaken by a couple of other riders in the background, which would have been Dominic Doyle.
And Lance Marais.
Yes, that's it.
So big mistake there or we don't know if it was a mistake, but it looked like he tried to make the move getting a little bit frustrated there behind our second place man, Stefan, and looked like he was going to clip. So he actually did well to miss Stefan, because at one point it looked like that both riders could have gone down. So good riding there. But look at Liebenberg losing the front end with a 5-second lead, and he's losing the front end. That's how determined the man is.
Yeah, you know what's happening there, Rob. You've ridden one of these. I unfortunately haven't had a chance to ride one yet, but I know our fellow commentator Matt did. And what tends to happen is the tyres get warm through the race. They actually don't differentiate tremendously from the hottest temperature they get to the coldest temperature. So in certain corners, you might just hit the slightly different line, and all of a sudden the front goes.
100%.
And it's definitely something that they've been working frantically to sort out. The front end of these bikes were an issue last year. I know Dave from Rad was putting in a valiant effort to get them all sorted out. But I think different riders, different riding style. Liebenberg certainly has got a different riding style to most of these riders. And
look at Lance Marais going into pit lane.
You can't go into pit lane. A bit wide there for the 9-9, but fortunately getting back on track, and only lost one position. And nearly makes it up going into turn 1, because I think a couple of riders were caught napping there by the fact that he just shot and got around.
Yeah.
So things changing rapidly in the second pack of riders. But looking for the leaders, I can tell you something. Liebenberg is gone and checked out. He's got the hotel bill. He's headed to ORT.
And this is the battle now between Coccioni and that man that we were bragging about earlier, Chase Holscher. So good ride there from him. He really has come to terms with the new KTM and those Pirelli tyres. But like you said, Liebenberg out front. Stefan now in a comfortable second place. Tyrese Robert in a comfortable third place. So it really has pulled out the rest of the field. This is definitely the battle on track here between Coccioni and Holscher. They are battling for a top 5 position. So really the battle to watch out for. Lance Marais kind of threw it away, made the big mistake there coming out of that final turn onto the front straight. But we know he's got the pace. Can he close down and maybe pip the guys and pick up the
I can tell you what happened with Lance Marais. Lance Marais went into the final turn, saw all his biking friends on the sideline, and just wanted to give them a bit of a thrill. It's what I did when I raced the NSF 100s. I was driving on the grass just to have a bit of a jaunt on this circuit. But needless to say, if you are out in the world of social media, remember we are live streaming here at the Diode Super GP on Diode Super GP's Championship website as the checkered flag comes out for heat number 1, and Aiden Liebenberg has got a comfortable margin. Wow. It's nearly 6 seconds ahead of second place Brandon Staffen, and Tyrese Robert is going to come through for third, riding, of course, in remembrance of his good friend, Yanni Stander. So good effort there from the youngster. Fourth place really got a bit heated at one point, but as we saw, we had some issues in a little bit further back in the field, but eventually being taken there by Cameron Hackett, who got through and beat out the 26 of Dominic Doyle. So that's how they finished in the top 5, the rest of them coming through. Great to see a good start to the season for our Super Junior Cup, and these KTM 390s are certainly going to be pushed hard by these youngsters throughout the season.
Yeah, it looks like Holscher managed to pick up 6, Lance Marais at 7th, Otto and Coccioni. I'm sure Coccioni was in 6th place, Holscher in 7th, Marais in 8th after that mistake, Otto in 9th, and Schultz there in 10th place.
I'm going to leave Rob with the highlights with you and head off to the podium, because that was our first podium of the day. But we're standing by for the highlights of our 390 KTM Junior Cup.
At the start, pole man Tyrese Robert got a good launch, but it was CJ Hackett and that Cape Town man Brandon Staffen who got into turn 1 in the lead. Not the greatest start from Doyle or Lance Marais. And that man, Aiden Liebenberg, had to come from the back of the field after starting with some problems on his RC390. Hackett was trying to find a way past that man, Brandon Staffen out front, and Liebenberg just led the way for him, and he made the moves. CJ Hackett was getting a little bit frustrated with Staffen and tried to make a couple of moves, but Staffen just was having none of it and cut off every line possible to CJ Hackett. This was the mistake from Hackett. You see, goes in and makes a little bit of a mistake, and luckily didn't take out Brandon Staffen, and really could have ended a lot worse. So he managed to pick up and still finish in a good 4th place on track, but really did end his chances of that podium position. Out front, it was Aiden Liebenberg. Lance Marais running into pit lane and more, and that ended his chances of finishing in the top 5. And that handed the win to Aiden Liebenberg, who came across the line. Brandon Staffen picked up 2nd, and that man, Tyrese Robert, in remembrance of Yanni Stander, in 3rd place. We're going to go to the podium position now with Greg, who's standing by with our top 3 riders.
Yeah, great to be down here, Rob. And as you can see, these Super Juniors are not holding anything back here. Aiden Liebenberg catching us out completely with a new spray job. So definitely Furcor going with the orange and blue colors now, as opposed to the yellow and black ones he was on earlier on. But you can see the riders that have had 2 races in a row have certainly got a little bit of sweat on them, but the guys who've only had 1 are pretty much cool, calm and collected. But great to see these youngsters giving everything they can here for the first time out in the DO SuperGP Champions Trophy, and of course our Super Juniors. A great effort here. We're going to wait to get them up on the podium and then have a quick chat to them afterwards, but as soon as they are ready to go, we're going to take up third place first and foremost, and that of course is the man riding not only for his own sponsors, but also for Yanni Stander this weekend. Let's get him up there. Third place today, ladies and gents. Let's hear it for this very, very exciting rider here. His name, of course, we're going to tell you all about it. I can tell you, Craig Roberts is quite happy he's here, but Tyrese Roberts is even better. Up you go, big man. Third place today. Well done, Ty. Second place, it was a good start for him, but he had to fight hard, eventually only getting to the second spot, but congratulations. Up you go, Brandon Staffen. And first place, right on the top for the first time this season, and looking like he wants to take that 162 and make it into just the number one. Good effort there, Aiden Liebenberg, right on top. Let's hear it for him, ladies and gentlemen. Third place going to be handed by Tim Cook from Gas Sports to our third place man there. Great job. Well done, Tyrese Roberts. Second place, Gugalicious, Gugu Zulu. He's going to hand to Brandon Staffen and say high fives to everybody. And Mark from Pirelli will be handing out first place to Aiden Liebenberg. That's your first podium of the year, ladies and gents. Let's make some noise for them. Great job. Come on down. Let's have a quick chat to each of you and before we get into the next race. Ty, it's been a long off season. I bet you've been dying to get on this bike. It certainly looks like you were itching to go. A good start, but looks like a little bit of work to do in the mid-pack.
Yeah, I think it was a good race for me, but I messed up my gearing. I think there's like a problem with the gearing, so next race I will definitely try to do better. But I got a podium anyway, so it's good.
Yeah, consistency wins this championship, as you've seen from your good friend William. So you got to try and stay on the podium every single time. It doesn't necessarily have to mean wins.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do right now.
Awesome job. We'll catch you later on, hopefully for another one. Bran, flying the flag high for down south, but things look like it's been a good start for the season so far.
Yeah, what a great race it was. I just want to give thumbs up to Liebenberg, CJ, and Tyrese. All rode a brilliant race. I just want to say sorry to CJ. Didn't intend on cutting him off so hard and that. And it was a really great race. I had lots of fun, and I guess that's all that counts.
It is. It's very important to have the fun out there. But there's more fun coming on a little bit later on today. You think you got what it takes to maybe step it up one?
I'm going to try my best, and that's all I can do.
Oh, we look forward to it. Your best is normally really good. Adi, it's been a long time since we've spoken to you on TV, buddy, but stepping up for the very first time, getting onto this bike, it's a whole new ball game, and it's really competitive in this class too.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to my dad, also Uncle Teddy for the bike, and also Uncle Wayne. Yeah, I had to pull away from the back of a grid, but I got through quickly, and I got a gap, and I took the win. But it's a really competitive class, and I look forward to the...
Awesome stuff. You going to go for the double today?
Definitely.
Welcome back to the DO SuperGP Champions Trophy at Red Star Raceway. Round number 1, 5-second board about to go up. And red lights about to go on for race 2 in the 250 Cup. It's a brand new category joining the DO SuperGP Champions Trophy as part of the Northern Regions, combining with SuperGP. And down towards turn 1. A good start, looks like, from the pole man. Headed into turn 1, heads up, Staffen on the outside, and whoa, what a start there. Incredible stuff as we saw, well, it looked like Savannah Woodward coming through there, but keep an eye out, of course, on Luke McGregor. Heading into the back straight, and of course, that's not where we are at the moment, it's the short circuit. Our camera guy's just getting caught out there ever so slightly. They head down towards turn 3 of the short circuit. It's a right-hander, and Brandon Staffen already started to look up the inside for opportunities if there are any. Looks like there might have been 1 or 2, but Aiden Liebenberg, of course, is the man to beat, and he hasn't been beaten yet this season in this category. Coming out and looking very, very good from the word go. We'll see whether or not things are going to change up out of race 1 and the way things happened up at the front end of this field. And what's going to happen now for race 2 as they come to complete lap number 2, or lap number 1, I should say, of 10. Across the line, Staffen leads out. 22 is Tyrese Robert on his tail. And then looking for opportunities right from the word go. Looking left, right, and center is Cameron Hackett. Good start there. And I was speaking about not Cameron Hackett, it's Luca Bologna in there as well. But Tyrese Robert looking like he's the man to beat you. 22. I'm trying to work out who these guys are. It's actually not 22, it's 77. That's Savannah Woodward who's got at the front end. I was thinking to myself, hold on a second, that's not Tyrese. That, is, of course, is Savannah Woodward with a great start. Whatever she's able to do there, we're not getting live timing, but hopefully we'll get the pro timing guys to sort that out, because right now, nothing coming through. But at the front end, disappearing and looking for opportunities. That's what you've got to do in this class. You cannot afford to wait for your arch rivals to get up there. And speaking of arch rivals, one of my arch rivals, no, only kidding. He's joined me in the commentary booth again, Rob. A little bit of a lunch break. We're back in track, and it's Brandon Staffen who is doing the damage at the front.
CJ Hackett in second place. We saw him run off in race number 1, so it's a much better ride from him. Tyrese Robert looking for another podium finish, but this is the battle on track. Doyle, Murray, we've got a huge battle on track there, and that is for 4th position, so that's really where all the eyes are at the moment, although the 3rd place battle is also really hotting up. Dominic Doyle won't really be happy where he is. We saw him running at the front end of the field last year. Same with Lance Murray, he picked up the win. But look at Chase Holscher, just at the back of that field. So that's an impressive ride from him. Oh, big mistake from Hackett there. Foot off the pegs, and that's allowed Tyrese Roberts through.
Yeah, nicely done there. And I've got to tell you something. Got caught out here ever so slightly with the change in program too. So we didn't stick to the original running of the program. It has changed up ever so slightly. So it is all about Super Juniors and, of course, the Super Junior regional class on track. At the front, wow, Staffen just getting away and getting the job done early. And hopefully going to be able to maintain that gap. But I think Tyrese is certainly looking to bring along the rest of this pack. 26 just behind them. Good start there from Dominic Doyle. A much better start from him. And on his tail, we've got a hard charging Lance Murray.
And Ricardo Otto with Chase Holscher just behind them, and Jared Schultz just further back. And it looks like CJ Hackett has made the move back up into second place. So he's ahead of Tyrese Robert. Again, Robert looking behind. He's got a comfortable gap there to 4th place. So it really is a battle now for the 2nd and 3rd position on track with that man out front. Brandon Staffen is comfortably out front. So he's really the man to beat at the moment for sure. This is the replay of CJ Hackett getting it all wrong. You could see foot off the peg. I don't know if it was a little high side, but Tyrese Robert taking full advantage, running around the outside. But since then, Hackett has managed to get himself back up into 2nd position and trying to make up for that race number 1, which turned out to be a little bit of a disaster for the young man.
I think on these bikes, it's a relatively high. It's not a high side, because they're not that high.
A little high side.
Yeah, we've got Dave Griffin from Rad Motors here in the studio with us, watching from behind, and he's loving the fact that these youngsters are not holding back. They're doing everything that was required to set up what was the inaugural championship last year, and now just cementing it and making sure that Super Juniors is part of this tour.
Well, go see Dave at Rad Motor and these guys. Get yourself one of these bikes. Competitive machine. Doesn't cost a hell of a lot of money, and you can come have a good racing series. Have a great time, whether you're young, whether you're old, whether you want to do whatever. Come and race, get televised, join a national series, and the perfect stepping stone to go up to 600s, thousands, and beyond.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And of course, remember, the Super Junior senior guys run with the 250 Cup a bit later on. So they've decided that these youngsters are a little bit too hot and too fast for them, I think. Eh?
I would do the same.
I would get out of that as well. I'll go play with 250s. My heart's better. Particularly Vaughan Swanepoel, of course, from KTM. He's just making a welcome return to two-wheeled racing after a little bit of an off, but certainly loving being back involved in the SuperGP Championship.
Took him half an hour to put his leathers on this morning, but he got in them eventually.
Yeah, a little bit of, what was it, WD-40, I think, eh? WD-40 there. All right, so now they come into turn 4 of the circuit, and a little bit of maneuvering there on the cameras, but we are battling a bit here with the windy conditions, so I think the satellite is also taking a bit of strain. You can see them flying through and flicking left and right, looking for opportunities. We can change up the camera angles here slightly because we have lost one of the cameras by the looks of things, but nonetheless, the action continues on track, and it's great action because 26 Dominic Doyle, not quite at the front end just yet. Same thing has to be said by Lance Murray, but those two riders last year were certainly at the front end and took a couple of victories in second and thirds.
Yeah, it's still early days for these guys. We saw the likes of Doyle and Murray pick up podium finishes at least at Desi and that. So a lot more to come from those riders at the moment. Staffen really stamping his authority on this race. CJ Hackett done a lot of testing over the off-season. Chase Holscher looking a lot better than we've seen him the whole of last year. Just made the move onto the 390, did a couple of races at the end of last year and doing the full season this season and really looking on it. So look for better results from a lot of these guys as the season goes on. Still early days for a lot of these guys. Dominic Doyle will be disappointed with that 4th place, no doubt about that. We know he can win races, and heading out next time out, I'm sure he will be right up there.
Looking forward to whether they're going to go with the suggestion that was made a couple of seasons ago. It hasn't quite come to fruition, but definitely something we need to look at when we head to Pakisa Freeway, for this class in particular, running the short circuit, turning right after turn 1 and giving these guys an option of a short circuit as well as what they've got here at Red Star, also at Pakisa. So that's a possibility. I'm not quite sure if it's in the cards, but it was definitely suggested a while ago, and maybe we're going to be seeing that as a bit of a change-up for these guys, the youngsters, and of course our Super Junior senior riders a bit later on.
Yeah, I think it's the way to go. If you look at British international stuff, Brands Hatch, they do it. They run Brands Hatch Short, Brands Hatch Indy, and then the long Brands Hatch. So I think it'll be a way to go. I think these guys would prefer it on the short track as well. The racing will be closer. So let's wait and see. 11th and 12th of March, SuperGP heads down to Pekisa in the Free State. So always great racing at Pekisa.
Yeah, another purpose-built motorcycle circuit. So definitely a good way to start the SuperGP Champions Trophy for 2016. The way things are starting out at the front end, though, it's all about Brandon Staffen now. He's left the rest of this field behind, and they're not really yet any answer. The gap between second and third has also become pretty much equidistant. Cameron Hackett sitting in second, and of course Tyrese Roberts there, the battle of the double numbers, 33 and 22. Then it's Doyle and Coccioni. Lance Moret here in a absolutely epic one with Ricardo Otter and Chase Holscher. That's the battle that's kind of raging on track at the moment.
Yeah, Dominic Doyle doing a good job here to hold off Coccioni. Coccioni was really the man to beat in the 150 class at one stage and jumped up to the 250s and also did really well. Struggling a little bit on the 390s, but getting his confidence back. And this is probably the best showing I've seen from Coccioni in a while since he's climbed on the KTM bike. But he's got Dominic Doyle just ahead of him, and that's not an easy man to pass. And CJ Hackett, much better race too, had a disaster of a race one. Really was disappointed with himself, and now he's running right up there in second position, right where he wants to be.
Right, so race one, winner the Aiden Liebenberg, unfortunately not making it out here for race two. A little bit of issues on the bike, and by the sounds of things, hopefully going to get that sorted out for the next round. But as they come across the line, look in the background. Look how things are starting to heat up there. Wow, incredible stuff. These two are going at it. There's no doubt about it. And Coccioni is just waiting for a chance to pounce. But just behind them there, the battle between Lance Marie, Ricardo Otto, and Holscher certainly heating up.
Dominic Doyle, such a stylish rider. You can see him hang off that bike. He's a tiny little guy, but he hangs off knee down, elbow almost down. The bike's getting a lot more grip out of the Pirelli tires this year. You can see lean angles are a lot better than they were last year on the other tires. And oh, look at that. Dominic Doyle backing it in hard on the brakes there. So stylish from these guys. Remember, we forget how young these guys are. They really are just learning their trade and their craft in motorcycle racing. So can you imagine what these guys are going to be doing in 5-6 years' time? They're going to be the future. They're going to be the Clint Sellers and the Steven Windals and the Dolph Bossovs of the future.
Checkered flag comes out. Staffen takes the victory. Incredible run there for him, and no worries whatsoever. Literally, from the drop of those lights going out into turn one, Hull shot it, didn't do anything wrong, and maintained a very comfortable margin over second place. 1.7 seconds exactly with Cameron Hackett in second place. Good to see CJ stepping up and getting an opportunity to be on the podium for his first time out. And that's his first podium in the KTM Super Juniors as well. Tyrese Roberts maintains consistency, like we said needed to happen between those two riders when they were on the podium last time. He comes through for third place, beating Dominic Doyle and Lance Moret. That's your top five in the Super Juniors.
We're going to take a look at the highlights of that race. Brandon Staffen all the way from Cape Town. Nothing more rewarding than that after that long 15, 17-hour drive than picking up the race win. It was Tyrese Roberts that got the great start from pole position. CJ Hackett also getting a good start, but it was Brandon Staffen who bullied his way almost to the front. Look at that, CJ Hackett round the outside, just on the dirty part of the track. So unfortunately didn't have the grip. It was Robert out front, but that was Robert making the move on CJ Hackett into the left-hander there, who made the mistake. But it was Brandon Staffen who crossed the line to pick up his race win. CJ Hackett very happy with that second position, and Tyrese Robert in third place.
Yeah, a great effort down here by these youngsters, Rob. They put on another great show for the crowd, and this is exactly what we're expecting from our Super Juniors, as always. I can see a couple of guys that are pretty happy to be up on the podium for the first time as well, which we're going to see there. But let's get them on that podium. And a great effort here from young Tyrese Roberts back under third place. Some more consistent riding. Let's get him up here. A big round of applause, ladies and gents, for third place, Tyrese Roberts. Second place and first official podium for him as well. Good to see this man stepping up and slowly but surely getting confidence on that KTM of his. Let's see it for CJ Cameron Hackett. And on top of the podium, making it one step up, just like we asked for, Brandon Staffen. Well done. Get on up there. Third place, Tim Cook is going to hand out to Tyrese Roberts. And there's a water for you as well, pal. I'm sure you'd like that, hey? Second place, Gugu Zulu going to be handing to CJ. Bran. And first place, Mr. KTM himself, Vaughan Swanepoel. Now we get it shined up by that KTM shirt as well. Well done, guys. Let's hear it, ladies and gents, for your Super Junior podium number 2. Dude, consistency is what it's all about. If you stay here, there's a good possibility.
Yeah, it was a really good race this time around. I think I just need to improve on my fitness and get the bike set up right, and then I'll be there.
It was hot out there as well, a lot hotter than the first race. So take us through, how did the tires handle? How was the bike coping?
I had a little bit of rear. In the last corner, it was sliding a lot, but I mean, I enjoyed my race. I pushed my best, and I just want to thank Indy Oil, Marosa Performance, and my dad for bringing me here.
Awesome job. Look forward to the next round at Pakisa. Good job, buddy. Second place. We haven't spoken to this man, and I'm sure he's going to be quite excited to speak to us. Come on in here, CJ. It's been a while, and I'm sure that you're loving the fact that you're into the national championships now. And I know that Mom and a whole bunch of people have helped out to get this to make it all work. But now that it's working, getting onto the podium, how does it feel?
It feels awesome for my first time at a national. It's something you can't explain.
I know exactly how you feel. It's the first time you're talking on worldwide TV as well as we go onto the internet and live streaming. But things looking good. I know in the first race it didn't quite go according to plan, ran a little bit wide there. What was the issue?
I was almost going to hit Brandon's staff, and so I pulled the brakes a bit hard, and then the back lifted, and I went straight.
You got it all sorted out for race 2, though. Congratulations on second place. We'll see you at Pakisa. Good job, Bran. Dude, I told you to come one more, and you did. So thanks very much. Stick to the plan. Always nice when you stick to the script, buddy.
Yeah, what a race that was. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I just want to congratulate CJ and Tyrese, my dad, and my uncle Ants for everything they've done for me this weekend. And to my friend Dom from PE, well done, bud.
He certainly is pushing hard, isn't he? Looking forward to Pakisa now, round 2. If this is the kind of pace you can find, I'm sure you're going to find some more pace for the Free State.
Yeah, I mean, I've never ridden there before, so every new track is a new learning curve, so we're going to see what we can do there.
The SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors.